Welcome back to Half the Battle. I'm your host, as always, Daniel Levy, your co-host, Shaq. We're going to be talking UFC Vegas 32, Cory Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw, and Shaq, it's going down this Saturday night in Las Vegas, Nevada. You got the former two-time world champion, TJ Dillashaw, coming off the EPO suspension to take on Cory Sandhagen, who's a top 5 fighter in the division, looking to get pave his way to a title.
I've missed EPO. Dillashaw, legend of the sport. Give him his credit, whether we the drug use or not. I mean, dude is a legend of the sport, a former champion, beat Renan Barão back when he was on a however many fight win streak it was. Defended it against Renan again. I mean, TJ Dillashaw has been there and done that. One of the best bantamweights, top 3 bantamweights of all time. So Cory Sandhagen, a former training partner of his. I mean, we know Cory's got that slick striking style. I mean, you saw his last couple of fights. For the legend Frankie Edgar, unfortunately, had to go out stiff. But Cory Sandhagen, we know what he brings to the table. Dude's like best striker in the bantamweight division, right up there. So I'm excited to see this matchup, man. Former training partners.
You know what's interesting, Shaq, is that a lot of people said that Cory Sandhagen's style was influenced by TJ Dillashaw.
You know what's funny, man? I'm pretty sure the clip's out there, but I remember TJ was hyping this kid up. I mean, that's how I heard about Cory Sandhagen, was from TJ Dillashaw. So it's quite funny how they're fighting tomorrow night.
And what's interesting is that, so obviously the style of Cory Sandhagen is heavily influenced from TJ Dillashaw, but in Cory Sandhagen, you got a taller, a longer version of TJ Dillashaw. Now, with the size, obviously, he's 5'11" or 5'10", something like that. But TJ Dillashaw still has that D1 wrestling background. So, there still are some advantages for TJ Dillashaw, but you got the bigger, younger version of him essentially here in Cory Sandhagen. And man, he's been impressive in the UFC.
Yeah. I mean, Cory Sandhagen, he's only had the one slip up to the, I hate to say it, but the current placeholder of the belt, Aljamain,
the interim champ, the literal interim champ,
the temporary champ. But I think that Cory Sandhagen, man, other than that, man, it's been pretty flawless. I mean, the Sun South fight, he's been taking like big jumps up. He started off with Arnett, then Alcantara, then Lineker, then a Sun South. So I mean, this dude has been on this path for a while, man. Let's see what happens, because I'm interested to see him in these fights with like Jan, because Cory Sandhagen, if you can't get your range on him right, I mean, you might be in trouble like very quickly with the knees and the dude's throwing spinning heel kicks now. I mean, he's a very dangerous fighter for sure.
And he's already taken his first L, so he knows what it's like to be humble. It seems to me like these last 2 fights, I understand you can make an argument Moraes and Edgar might be on their way out, but so what? Look at the intensity that Cory Sandhagen's coming into these fights with, man. Seems like he's a lot more focused. He's not as cocky, because I know going into the Aljamain fight, the guy acted like he was champ before it even happened. But now I see a different kind of intensity in Cory Sandhagen. Obviously, you hear TJ Dillashaw all week. It's scary how confident that man is too.
Oh, TJ is the competitor, like ultimate, like try, like max effort. He's gonna give it his all. It's quite funny, the last fight he had with Cejudo. I mean, we know what the type of strain he was putting his body under to get to 125 pounds. But personally, I don't think it really had much to do with that. I mean, you look at his 2 prior fights to that, Cody Garbrandt, former champ, but let's just say Cody wasn't thinking too good, going into those fights. But no, man, I'm not taking anything away from my boy Dillashaw. I'm excited to see him.
It's funny, if you go back and you listen to our Dillashaw versus Cejudo breakdown, not only did we predict Cejudo to win, but we also said TJ is on all the best medicine that money can buy, and we even said EPO. Go back and check that out.
I'm excited to see Dillashaw back, win or lose, man. So let's not take that away from him. But I'm not surprised he tested. I mean, you go back to the UFC 200 breakdown. I mean, I was kind of giving out hints. I mean, you could see some of those needle marks on that belly back, and not to mention, I mean, there's been some him and Chad Mendes. I'll leave it alone. But Chad Mendes also tested positive.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. That's all I gotta say. But we're gonna obviously break this whole card down, start to finish. But first, gotta give a big shout out to our sponsor, Manscaped. And listen, the Olympics, the Euros, baseball, and major championships and concerts are all in this summer. You know what isn't? A wild and hairy bush. Tame your pubes with help from our friends at Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Their 4th-generation performance performance package includes the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. It's what I got in my hand right here. And if an athlete treats their body like royalty, why not treat your pubes like Olympic gold? Fellas, do right by your balls and join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com with the code BATTLE20 for 20% off and free shipping. Shaq, you got to be like my boy Chris Mutino, who's ready for any short notice opportunity. I mean, you stepped up, changed his life from making $500 and $500 on the regional scene. All of a sudden, he's walking home with a $75K bonus plus, 12 to show plus his Venom pay, because he was ready for a short notice opportunity. With Manscaped, you will be ready for a short notice opportunity. The world is starting to open, and the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is here to help you get ready. Inside, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, plus 2 free gifts, the Performance Boxer Briefs, and the Shed Travel Bag. And I know my boy Shaq ain't going to be caught dead inside the VIP room at any club without that Crop Preserver and that Crop Reviver. You know what I mean? You talk about a world-class dismount into a post-quarantine world. This package is the perfect package for your package and peak performance in whatever sport you desire. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take the podium. This 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor and a new multifunction on-off switch which can engage a travel lock and gives you the ability to turn on a 4,000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. So now you can go in the shower. Did I mention the trimmer is waterproof? Michael Phillips is drooling just thinking about the possibilities. This package also comes with the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up top in both your nose and ear. This tool is a lock to take home the gold in the biathlon. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof, like I said, and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. It just sounds badass every time I say that. And this nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate areas. After trimming your pubes, show them some sportsmanship with Manscaped's liquid formulations. The Crop Preserver ball deodorant and the Crop Reviver ball toner are the keys to feeling victorious this year. Manscaped also threw in 2 free gifts, their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers, and the Shed Travel Bag. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code BATTLE20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code BATTLE20 at manscaped.com. Achieve pubic glory this year with Manscaped, Shaq.
Yeah, man. I mean, couldn't have said it better myself. And that's Michael Phelps is the guy we want to be using from now on. Because Michael Phelps, I mean, he's like, might be the greatest athlete in U.S. history. He definitely got the most gold medals, and he's definitely clean shaven. So yeah, let's not use some of these paths. And shout out to Chris Motino, man. I hope they reward him with the layup in this next one. Who's a good layup at bantamweight?
You can always get Malcolm Gordon to move up a weight class.
Francisco, one of them. Somebody, let's just. I hope they reward that kid with a nice, easy fight this next time.
Yeah, and I hope he saves his money too. Because we'll see how that goes. But anyways,
we'll see how that works.
First up in the strawweight division, we got a matchup between Deanna Belbita. She's 13-6, and she's taking on Hannah Goldy, who's 5-1. And currently, they got it's a dead pick 'em. Deanna Belbita -110, Hannah Goldy -110. So it opened with Goldy as the favorite. All the action came in on Deanna Belbita. I mean, look, I understand you got +160, +180 on Deanna Belbita. I mean, at the end of the day, this is about getting the best of the line. So you got a line like that, sit back and enjoy. You did your job. But now at pick'em price, it's a completely different fight. I mean, it's kind of like the aggression of Belbita. She goes forward. She tries to take your head off. And in doing that, she kind of redlines. She makes a lot of mistakes. But some of the girls can't take the aggression. She's also dropping a weight class. And Hannah Goldy's like the polar opposite. She likes to play it safe. She likes to, sidekick and run. She likes to point fight a little bit. It's a tough one to call because, we don't know how Hannah Goldy's going to deal with someone charging her recklessly and aggressively. But I'm going to go against the public here. I'm going to take Hannah Goldy via close decision.
Yeah, low level strawweight fight here, man. Hannah Goldy. I mean, it's been a while, so there's a good chance we see some improvements here. Belbita, the last fight was one of the more head scratchers I've seen because Jojua has only won by one method, and she was lighting her up on the feet, and then she took her down, which made no sense to me. So it's kind of hard for me unless you got that good price, that good dog money. Yeah, it's a good bet, but at this point, I wouldn't no more value on that. I'm agree. I'm gonna take Hannah Goldy to kind of tip and run from the outside. Now, look, Hannah Goldy is these two fights with Miranda Granger. I mean, Miranda Granger completely dominated. That's not a good look. But I'm guessing how long has she been out? Like a couple of years, right? That was
Goldy?
Yeah, that was like a long time.
I'll tell you the exact time right now. She's been out since August of 2019.
Years. Yeah, so 2 years. So I'm expecting this work with her and Julian and in Orlando that she's probably improved. And I think Belbita, man, I remember she fought Lipsky in that Polish promotion, KSW, and the fight, she was hanging in there, and then she just got knocked out. But we'll see what happens, man. This could go either way.
Yeah. Now, next up in the flyweight division, we got a matchup between Sijara Eubanks. She's 6-6. She's taking on Elise Reed, who's 4-0. And currently, they got Sijara Eubanks minus 360. The comeback on Elise Reed is plus 290. So, I mean, listen, obviously, Sijara Eubanks is the much more experienced fighter here. She's a Lloyd Irvin black belt. So, to earn a black belt like that, it's no joke at all. And she's fought the better level of competition. I mean, she was supposed to fight for a UFC title, Shaq, against Nico Montano. Interestingly enough,
Lauren Murphy.
It's Nico Montano who usually pulls out of fights, but here it was actually Sijara Eubanks. There was a weight issue, but listen, she's had her ups, she's had her downs. With Elise Reed, she's super green for sure, but she's tough, man. I mean, on the feet, she can definitely hang. And I've seen her in bad spots. There's two ways to look at it. One way is, well, she escaped those bad spots. She showed heart. The other way is, well, what happens if Sijara, who's a black belt, gets on top of her in those same spots? So it's really about how you look at it. Look, I got to go with Sijara, but here's the issue. I've seen Sijara at similar prices drop the ball. I know y'all remember the Betch Correia fight, exact same price. Now, granted, Elise Reed isn't a former title challenger. My girl Betch is. Don't discredit her now. She fought Ronda Rousey.
Betch is fine, my girl Carol.
Oh, yeah, Carol Hosa. I like that. I'm going to go Sijara here, but again, it could get very interesting on the feet. And Sijara, I'm not going to buy into the gassing narrative too much. I don't really think that's the issue. It's just she makes some bonehead mistakes from time to time. She gets carried away. But and I have to speak like this because she's minus 360. But at the end of the day, I am going to go Sijara to get it done.
Yeah, Elise Reed, I think she's coming up from 115, and Sijara's going back to 125. So let's see. She made weight this morning, right? She looked like she was slimmer.
I'll check. They haven't even weighed in yet, actually.
They haven't? Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But I looked at her Instagram. She looks noticeably slimmer. And yeah, so look, Eubanks, I'm usually not too high on her because I feel like she's somewhat of a bully in not a good way. Like she, kind of a front runner fighting style. Like when the tide gets turned on her, she usually doesn't answer back. Like when you look at these fights with Correia and Yanez, even the Kedlin Vieira fight, a lot of people were betting. A lot of people seem to consistently be on Eubanks like every fight, and it just seems to not work out. Look, now she's fighting a newcomer, so yeah, I mean, it seems like everything should be here in her favor. She's got the experience. She's stronger, bigger. I mean, when she was at 125, she did beat Roxanne. She did beat Lauren Murphy. So it seems like maybe that is a better weight class for her, a weight class where she could, use those physical strengths better. Because at 135, it just seems like she's hitting the wall. And she fought Aspen Land, and the weird thing with the Vieira fight was, I was expecting more. The first 2 rounds was Kelly, I don't know if you've been watching her lately. She ain't been looking too hot, and I was expecting
ever since the surgery. Caitlin ain't been the same.
I was expecting more from Sijara in that fight, and then the Chianza fight was almost like a similar you dominate the first round, and then what happened? You just stop fighting. Same with the Bexar fight. Look, I think she's gonna get the job done here, but minus 3 something for 360 for a person who consistently does not live up to her prices on the odds. I mean, look, we can say Betch Correia and Chianzad and all these people, ranked fighters or former title challengers and whatnot, but it is what it is. Like this girl Elise Reed. And one thing I want to say about Elise Reed, that promotion that they're coming from, the one in it was Cage Fury CFFC. I mean, one thing I've been noticing, man, that promotion is consistently putting in dudes that are ready to fight now. She is on the a female fighter, but I just been noticing Jeremiah Wells, Brady, Sabatini. I mean, is a lot of volume coming from that promotion. Maybe not like the best skill wise, like no future champions or nothing like that, but like people are coming ready from that promotion to fight against established UFC vets. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Real quick, got to give a big shout out to our boy Jay Weezy. Appreciate the $20 donation, man. Keep up the great work, Jay Weezy. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Thank you, Jay Weezy. Got to give a shout out to my boy Jonathan Ramirez with the $5 donation. I appreciate you.
Boy Jay Ramirez.
Also, my boy Valerie.
Shaq Mazab.
with
hell of a last name.
Hey,
that's a hell of a last name.
We respect it. any obs, we ain't gonna mess with you, man. So we truly appreciate it, man.
Usually don't pick against obs.
We never pick against obs. Got my boy Devontae Sewell in the chat.
My boy Devontae's got a fight coming up soon.
He's got a big fight coming up. He told me what promotion. Let me see if
it's it might be Cage Fury.
Is it Cage Fury?
It might be Cage Fury.
Yeah. Devontae, let us know what promotion you're fighting for in the chat. Oh yeah, no, CFFC, like you were talking about.
Yeah. So look, my boy Devontae's trying to
get
into that big time promotion as well.
Hell yeah, let's go. All right. Now, next up in the bantamweight division, we got a matchup between Julio Arce. He's 16-4. He's taking on Andre Ewell, who's 17-7. And currently, they got Julio Arce minus 215. The comeback on Andre Ewell's plus 180. I'm kind of surprised. Look, firstly, let me go ahead and say I've been higher on both these guys than most people. I find them both super entertaining. I like their fighting styles. They're always involved in exciting back and forth stand-up wars, and that's exactly what the fans want to see. So I expect no less here. I think these two are going to duke it out for 3 straight rounds. It's going to be a highly competitive battle. So right away, I think the plus 180 might be a little bit off here. Listen, Julio Arce might have the better technical skills, but he does tend to fight close. And Andre Ewell has a way in certain fights of making it closer. I mean, he's very long for the weight class. He's got that 75-inch reach. I heard someone say, well, Julio had no problems with Julian Erosa, but firstly, that's not true. Secondly, Ewell's got a longer reach than Julian Erosa. Ewell is very deceptively long for the weight class. The guys that get to Ewell are the guys that put the pressure on him, that break him down. The Cheeto Veras with relentless pressure. Chris Gutierrez with those leg kicks. Nathaniel Wood, hot prospect. Whereas Julio Arce, I think he's fantastic, and he is dropping a bantamweight for the first time. But, man, he can make some of these fights kind of close, and a close stand-up war with no takedown attempts. And, I think that's where Ewell can actually have some success. So I see this kind of being that coin flip fight. Look, I understand if you want to, favor Arce slightly, but minus 215 I disagree with, man. So I'm going to go with Andre Ewell via split decision. I expect this to be a 3-round stand-up war, and both guys are going to have their moments. It's going to be super exciting. I'll go with the plus 180 dog here.
Yeah, man, this is a tough fight because I haven't really seen Arce in a while since the Akeem fight, which was a split decision loss. And yeah, man, when I watch Arce, I kind of get the same notion, like, he kind of holds back in there. He doesn't necessarily pull the trigger all the time. Granted, he is fighting some good power threats like Hakeem and Shaman Moraes and things like that. But, when I watched those fights, I felt like he could have thrown more. That's the common theme. Like, even in the Erosa fight, it wasn't too.
The Erosa fight had a sweating.
Even though he knocked him out, for the price that I paid, I wasn't necessarily. He was winning. It was just, it was like a marginal, lead. It was very competitive until he knocked him out. But yeah, man, I've been a little too harsh on Andre Ewell, man. I kind of like to stay out the Andre Ewell business altogether. But I feel like the Gutierrez fight. When you got those knives stabbing at your gut and your legs and upstairs. He's throwing spinning head kicks. The calf kicks, the teeps to the gut. Gutierrez, man, he is an expert kicker. So I was a little too harsh on him in that fight. And he might be up there, like, in terms of size bantamweights, like one of the bigger bantamweights I've seen. I know he cuts a lot of weight, which kind of leads him to get hurt in a lot of his fights to the body and things along that. But I do feel like this is a better fight for him. I agree. I think the line's off. I was like, man, this could go either way. Is he gonna win? I don't know, but yeah, I'll take Ewell. I think this is a better fight than the Gutierrez fight. He's got the length here. We know that he'll take more chances banging and slugging in the pocket. We know Julio Arce is more of a technician, a cleaner striker, maybe a better decision maker on the grappling as well. He did have Shaman Moraes' back in one of those rounds, so maybe he chooses to to go that route. We know Ull's, one of those things I didn't like in the Gutierrez fight. I remember him dropping for a leg lock. I mean, it was a decent attempt, but like, come on, Andre. I mean, we're not going to finish a fight by leg lock in the UFC.
Like, I get you did a couple months of jiu-jitsu training, but
yeah, I get you been in the gym working, but like, come on, buddy. He's not going to tap to that. So, you know, I'm going to actually go with Ewell as well by, you know, maybe a close decision, but I definitely think it's a dog or pass situation. I don't think Arce is trustworthy at that price, but we'll see what happens. It seems like a common thing as he fights close.
I mean, look, minus 140 Arce, minus 150 Arce. Okay, different story, but minus 215. Like, I need some dominance, and I'm not sure we're gonna get that.
Yeah, I'm excited for this next one, my boy Mick.
Yeah. So next up in the welterweight division, we got a matchup between Jordan Williams. He's 9-4. He's taking on Mickey Gall, who's 6-3. And currently, they got Jordan Williams minus 170. The comeback on Mickey Gall is plus 150. So, I mean, fans that have the battle know we've been very vocal during Mickey Gall fights, and here he is again. Jordan Williams dropping to 170 pounds. He initially said he couldn't make it, but look, he got with the people at the PI. He's got, you know, they're sending him meals. He's got the nutrition on point. He also moved to Denver, Colorado. He's training with Factory X. He's put in a 10-month camp with them. So he says he's expecting the best version of himself. He says he wants to change his life. He's got a big opportunity here. I mean, this is the most winnable fight he's had in a long time. So what do you think, man?
Yeah, I think this is his fight, man. Look, I respect Mickey Gall. Like, I know y'all have heard me shit on Mickey, like, back when he was fighting Randy and Diego Sanchez and things like that. But, you know, now I respect him. Like, the kid is tough. Like, this might not be as easy as it used to be, like, you know, with Randy and D. I mean, he still was 1-1 with Randy. So I respect the kid. Like, kid's coming to fight. Like, no mistake about that. But it's just one of those things where I see him at a disadvantage again. Like, with the fights that he's taking. Look, he's getting paid too much. He has to take good. He can't fight. You know, I mean, you know, he can't fight these bums at 170. I can't think of the worst 170 guy right now. But
I'll tell you in a second.
He can't fight Anthony Ivy or you know, like, he has to fight someone good because he's got a good name, and or like Christian Aguilera or something like that.
Preston Parsons.
Yeah, my boy Preston will be back. But yeah, I think that he's at a disadvantage again. I mean, look, the Mike Perry fight, I remember, like, for the last few months, people have been saying that's a positive thing, like his performance in that fight. I rewatched it the other day. I mean, I had it 30-27. I was actually shocked when I heard the 29-28. I was like, what? He didn't win anything. Like, I mean, the kid definitely stood and banged for like a couple minutes, but it's easy to land shots when your opponent, aka Mike Perry, is a slop job. I mean, the dude's like no defense, like, probably, I mean, Coach Latore trained him for that. Like,
straight up.
So, you know, Baby Moms was out here training them for the fight, and they went out. I mean, the only reason why he did that was because he was fighting Mickey. Like, had he would have been fighting Tim Means or, you know, so he would have showed up with at least one more cornerman, which he did. You know? So I think that, man, Mickey is at another disadvantage again. Jordan Williams, we're talking about a guy that knocked out the Brazilian dude, what's his name, that Rodriguez, that just beat Dusko. I mean, he floored that dude in the first round. Like, that dude's was an LFA champ. Like, that's the level Jordan Williams is on. Like, he fought Ramazan Kurmanaga. I mean, Dana White sat there and told the whole world that Ramazan lost and that he didn't win shit. So, like, Jordan Williams is doing even the Imavov fight. I mean, it wasn't like Imavov didn't take shots. Like, I just don't see Mickey Gall being at that level. It's very unfortunate because I do think Mickey could, like, at least keep his job. Like, if he fought, you know, maybe a Gabe Green or like Philip Bro, you know, like that, those level type of guys. But unfortunately, I see Jordan Williams probably coming out here and actually taking him seriously, setting up his shots. Like, Mike Perry is going to be in bare knuckle here soon. Like, Jordan Williams is hungry. Like, he wants to, like you said, change his life. So I see him coming out here, setting up his shots, landing that left hand, and probably knocking Mickey out.
Look, it's just a different level, man. I mean, Mickey Gall in that last fight against Mike Perry, I mean, the only reason I picked Mickey Gall is because I heard from Mike Perry's coaches that Mike Perry didn't just leave the gym. Mike Perry left planet Earth, and
he was swinging on coaches and shit like that.
And on old men, on women, on this, you know what I'm saying? So, And Mike Perry, with no training camp, with his girlfriend in the corner, goes out there and walks down Mickey Gall like it's nothing. And people talk about how Mickey had some success in that fight. I mean, look, there was only one person landing knockdowns. That was Mike Perry. There was only one person landing takedowns. That was Mike Perry. There was only one person who, you know, was close to getting the fight stopped, and that was Mike Perry. Mike Perry walked him down. The issue with Mickey Gall is he never was able to get that seasoning on the regional scene to come to the UFC. He's, you know, he fights CM Punk and, you know, Mike Jackson. All of a sudden you're fighting Randy Brown and Diego Sanchez and now Jordan Williams. And, you know, Jordan Williams has paid his dues, man. I mean, firstly, he's only been knocked out once against Dwight Grant, who's one of the hardest hitters in the welterweight division. I mean, if there's one thing about Dwight Grant hits like a truck. And before anyone brings up this Kazula Vargas fight, if you actually watch it, Jordan Williams beat up Kazula Vargas. He just had a cut. It was a cut stoppage. He was like, dude, are you seriously going to stop it over that when I'm ground and pounding this guy? You know, so he's only been stopped once legitimately. And the whole ground game thing, I think Jordan Williams is more physical. I think he's the better wrestler. I don't think the submission threat of Mickey Gall is going to be an issue here. And also, people talk about
my bad to cut you off. But I heard he got trained by Dave Terrell. If you Jordan Williams, yeah. So I mean,
Dave Terrell, UFC vet.
Yeah, if you know anybody, no, only the hardcores know about.
Yeah, the Diaz brothers know about Dave Terrell, but yeah. So Jordan Williams, his cardio has been criticized in the past, but here's the thing. Mickey Gall doesn't have the best cardio either, but there's a fundamental difference between the two. And that difference is that Jordan Williams is willing to push through his fatigue. Whereas when Mickey Gall gets tired, that's when he'll start flopping to his back. That's when he starts backing into the fence and covering up. And, you know, someone that's coming in prepared is going to put him away. I think Jordan Williams is coming in prepared, and I think he will put him away. I got Jordan Williams here to come out here and finish Mickey Gall. Now, next up in the middleweight division, we got a matchup between Ian Heinisch. He's 14-4. He's taking on Nassourdine Imavov, who's 9-3. And currently, they got Ian Heinisch minus 170. The comeback on Nassourdine Imavov is plus 140. So, Shaq, listen, Ian Heinisch is a guy that I really like to back as an underdog, especially against like an older Brazilian who tends to gas, because you start to gas out against a guy like Ian Heinisch, and I mean, he will turn up on you. The thing with Imavov is that he's also a dog. He likes to get in these clinch wars, and, you know, he likes to like see who the tougher man is. So, even though I understand Heinisch has fought the bigger names, the better competition, and maybe that'll count for something here. Maybe that experience will show. But I personally feel hesitant about backing Ian Heinisch at a favorite price.
Yeah, this is one of the tougher fights on the card because I see a lot of, you know, good things in the future for Imavov. Like, he's young. I mean, he's putting in work with my boy. What's it, Coach Fernand Lopez and Gall and them. Like, so like I like Imavov, but this is a big step up in competition. I mean, he lost to Phil Haas. Someone would say, I mean, Ian Heinisch was just ranked. He's been ranked like the last couple of years. So, you know, this is a win-win for Imavov. He gets a guy that was just ranked, coming off a loss. And look, the Phil Haas fight, I don't think Imavov lost any stock, in my opinion. If anyone knows me, y'all know how much I like Phil Haas moving forward here at 185. And Phil Haas is like almost a complete package, you know, like besides the whole taking the chin thing, you know, him getting wobbled in fights, but like the clinch, the wrestling, the power, the speed, like Phil Haas has it all. So like he just got out muscled in the clinch there, couldn't break from the clinch. But I mean, we saw what happened in that third round. I mean, Phil Haas was all on ice skates in that third round. And I mean, we know that Imavov's the sharper puncher here. I feel like Ian Heinisch kind of gasses himself out with that footwork that he does, and he kind of is like a middleweight that tries to fight like a flyweight. Like he goes for the big like Kimura or like a flying knee, and it's very sloppy. It's very like just slow, and he's been struggling. But granted, he has been fighting. We're talking Brunson, like that's a top 5 guy. Kelvin Gastelum, even though he's not the same guy, I mean, still Kelvin Gastelum. Omari Akhmedov, you know, big Russian, strong Russian that's gonna, you know, he out wrestled him for 2 rounds. So, you know, granted, I don't think Imavov's on that level yet, but I agree, man. I don't think you can trust Heinisch due to the fact that he beat the 2 jiu-jitsu black belts, Mutanch and Shoeface, and then since then, man, it's just been like drop off. And like he hasn't been having like, and the thing, even though he's been losing to the big names, it's just the way he's losing. I just feel like it's like these big attempts at like trying to he's like you're trying to hit a home run, like you got to hit a single, bro. Like, it works out here and there. Like get back to breaking guys. Look, there is a path for him to get this win with the clinch in the wrestling. He is a state champion wrestler, and that is Imavov's weakness. But I think that Imavov is going to go back to the gym after that Phil Haas fight, work on the wrestling, and just it's going to be a close fight. I see it being a close fight. Like maybe we don't really know who won at the end, but I'm gonna go with the Imavov. I just see the value being on him. I think Heinisch is we've seen a large enough sample size to know that he's not going to be on that top 15 level. And I feel like, man, the way middleweight is now, man, like these kids like Imavov or like some of these other guys like Muniz or some of these other guys, for example, like I'm not sure if Heinisch can even hang with those guys or like. Look at these. What's this? Duplessis, like middleweight is on fire right now. It's a lot of prospects. So Heinisch is in question to me, but we'll see if he utilizes that wrestling and gets him out down.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. I understand that Heinisch has fought the better guys. There's no debating that. But I mean, he's kind of getting blown out by these better guys. I mean, not like first round stoppages, but like 30-27 across the board type stuff in the Kelvin Gastelum fight. What was the other loss besides Akhmedov? What was the other loss besides Akhmedov? Oh yeah, Brunson. I mean, they are actually, he is winning rounds in them, but like
we know who won at
these fights that he's actually winning though, like against Carlos Jr., they're like close, like come down to the wire, like slight comeback against known gassers. The Cesar Mutanch fight, same thing. So here it's like it's tough because Imavov is a dog, man. He's not one of these guys that's gonna quit. He's one of these guys that's gonna be there the entire time. So, I mean, I'll lean Heinisch. I think Heinisch should be favored, but at the current price, I would say it's probably Imavov or a pass, but I'll say Heinisch, via split decision. I don't think that he's going to come out here and just make a statement because he's fought better guys. I don't think he's going to put Imavov out of there or anything like that. I think they're going to fight very close. It's going to be a lot of clinch exchanges, a lot of back and forth. So I'll go Heinisch, but it's going to be close. Now, next up, also in the middleweight division, we got Puna Haley Soriano. He's 8-0. He's taking on Brendan Allen, who's 16-4. And currently, they got Puna -115 and Brendan Allen -105. I mean, we know exactly what both guys want to do. Now, granted, Brendan Allen went to Sanford, and then his very next fight, he comes out there against Sean Strickland, doesn't attempt a single takedown, and tries to bang with Strickland. You do a couple months with Henry Hooft, all of a sudden you think you're a K1 striker, but I think that fight was humbling. Next fight goes in there against Carl Roberson, first-round submission like we expected. And with Puna Soriano, I mean, we call this guy Hawaiian Vitor for a reason because he hits like a goddamn truck. I mean, it might not look the prettiest, but when this guy swings, bodies do hit the floor. And he throws everything he has with every single punch. We know Brendan Allen's been hurt before. We know he's been knocked out before. But at the same time, we don't know how. Now, listen, I'm going to say we don't know how Puna's takedown defense is, but we know he's an All-American, a D3 All-American wrestler. So I'll say this, the single legs and the double legs, I'm pretty sure Puna's got a good base to stop that. What I'm worried about is the kind of, the body lock stuff that Brendan does, which, you're not probably often used to in D3 wrestling, body lock to back takes, from the clinch, stuff like that. That's where I'm worried about Brendan Allen taking his back. That's where I got the question. So how you see this one going down?
Yeah, this is, I'm looking forward to this fight because, I like Soriano and Brendan Allen, it is what it is. Like the dude's got all the makings for, a guy that's going to be around for a long time. He's still young. He's very experienced. Like he beat Kevin Holland. He took care of Breeze. He took care of the last one. I mean, Brendan Allen's got a lot of tools. How old is he? Like 25, 6? Like not even.
He's just a kid.
Yeah, like bro, he's
25. Yeah, holy shit.
Bro, like Brendan's going to be around for a very long time. And so, yeah, man, look, this matchup is tough because I got a lot of questions on both guys. Look, Brendan Allen is the much more experienced guy. So already naturally, I want, like, from a betting side of things, I want a clear dog price on Soriano just because, like, he, the two fights, he fought Pijoda, Can, and Dusko. Look, Dusko was undefeated at the time, but
fights with his chin up in the air.
Dude's chin sky high in the air. Like it's really, it wasn't that hard of a test. Now, Brendan Allen on the other side also takes a lot of shots. I would not be shocked if Puna also knocked him out very quick, just due to the fact that like Brendan is a very in your face type of guy. Like anytime he gets into a striking match, his face gets covered in blood. I mean, that's just the truth about it. And we don't know if he can take that type of power, but I mean, he has been in there with like Eric Anders, fluffy, heavy, but he lost all those fights at the same time. But he has felt like, you know, from some heavy hitters. So at 25 years old with more experience under him, you know, I think he should be the clear favorite here, just to the fact like he actually has beaten like, you know, real dudes. Like I like Puna, Hanley, Soriano, but Jamie Pickett is a can. Piota is not in the UFC, and to be honest, I don't see Dusko being in the UFC for much too longer either. So like you know, I like Puna Haley, but I'm curious to see how his cardio holds up in the second and third. Like all the stuff y'all were saying in the prior fight now is where I'm, you know, like, you know, where like how is his gas tank? Because you can see signs of him huffing and puffing in some of these first round finishes. Like look, I like the kid, but you could tell like if someone can extend him in the late rounds, you know, we might get to see, you know, kind of some of those holes we were seeing in the Jamie Pickett fight where he was like putting his hands on his hips and he was like extremely gassed. I mean, the dude swings heavy, man. Like, but at the same time, man, Brendan Allen, it kind of is a punching bag. That head movement is not there. I mean, we saw the Strickland fight. I mean, Strickland was just popping him back with the jab. That he lacks in that head movement, but he is training at a good camp with Henry. So let's see if he makes improvements. Look, I got hesitations on both guys. I'm gonna actually take Puna to get the win here, but from a betting side, I need a clear dog price just due to the fact that like one of them is young, improving, and experience, beat Kevin Holland, beat, you know, dudes that I actually like, you know, respect, as where like, you know, look, I like Puna, but these dudes were, you know, not up to par. So I'm gonna go with you know, yeah, sure. I mean, it sounded like I'm picking Brendan Allen, but you know, I'm gonna pick Puna. I'm just more of a fan of his style.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because it's like we don't know what's going to happen if Brendan Allen takes his back. But at the same time, Brendan Allen's been kind of falling in love with his stand-up a little bit. And Brendan, interestingly enough, he actually might have like cleaner hands than Puna. It's just the power difference is so massive that it might not even matter that if Brendan Allen's popping a jab and stuff like that. But the question I have, again, like bringing up that wrestling background, Puna's a D3 All-American. So we know, you know, traditional single legs and double legs are going to be tough to get on someone with a base like that. But Brendan Allen's a body lock and trip guy. Brendan Allen's a body lock to back take guy. So
and one of the things I wanted to say, what's my boy from Milwaukee, the old jiu-jitsu coach,
Daniel Wenderlich.
Yeah, like I don't really I mean, you don't really see me vouch like, but like he is one of the jiu-jitsu coaches that I vouch for. Like all his dudes have like crazy ass like you see Brendan Allen's game off his back is like, you know, like even when he's on his back, dudes like attempting, you know, all type of stuff. So like, you know, that's one thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Daniel Vanderlei, what, brown belt or black belt? Black belt. Yeah. So I mean, he's serious. Yeah, I got a lot of questions too. I am also leaning Puna. I mean, the fight does start on the feet. He does have that wrestling base, and you know how damn hard he hits, but the experience of Brendan Allen could be a massive factor here, and also that disgusting jiu-jitsu game. So I agree with you. It has to be a dog price, you know, to back Puna here. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. But next up, this should be very exciting. In the bantamweight division, we got Adrian Yanez. He's 13-3. He's taking on Randy Costa, who's 6-1. And currently, they got Adrian Yanez -230. The comeback on Randy Costa's +190. So we were actually in attendance for Randy Costa's UFC debut against Brandon Davis, and man, that was a hell of a fight, man. They electrified the crowd that night, didn't they, Shaq?
Yeah, man, this is a good fight because yeah, I liked, man, because you know what's so funny, man, Randy, in my opinion, like I don't like he's got I think Tyson's his manager, right, or one of these dudes, but like, dude, you know, he fought like a peanut guy, a snow cone vendor guy, like the strip club bathroom guy, like legit. Like if you watch his local scene fights, like, and he got into the UFC. So like man, I got a lot of respect for that kid, because bro, like he went in head first. Because bro, if you actually like seen the dudes he was fighting, like I'm talking like they were literally finding these dudes like, you know, out the janitor room, like straight up. And when you know Brandon Davis ain't good, but like he showed skill. Like dude can close the show. Like the way he times some kicks in Yanez, man, like. My boy Yanez got some hands on him, so I'm excited for this one.
Yes, sir. I mean, do you agree with this whole first rounder bust thing for Costa? Is it just he's just green? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how I see this fight, man, it's tough because Yanez, yeah, like we have not seen Costa in the second and third rounds. You know, since but I'm not gonna. This is one of those things where I like to lean on. You cannot make full judgments on a guy with less than how many
6-1.
He's 6 and he's got 7 fights. You know, I see what y'all are saying. Like, yeah, if Yanez extends him, it's looking like it should go his way. Just because he's been in there with Johns, he's got the higher experience level for sure. So yeah, look, Yanez is gonna be my pick to win the fight, but like Costa, man, like the way he's been looking body wise, like from when he came into the UFC, and I know he's working with Phil Daru, Phil Daru, the guy that Dustin Poirier's strength and conditioning coach, and like so like what if his cardio's good? What he's training at Sanford too. Like what happens if his cardio's good? Because this kid's the way he times his kicks up after these punches, if he has cardio and can keep that up for like any substantial amount of time, like bro, this kid can close the show. Like he's got a knack, like you could tell he's got a knack for knocking things out. Like I don't know what type of striking background he has, but like you could tell like he's got good traits. I mean, he's long, bantamweight. I don't know exactly how much his reach is, but he's just got a funky style with the way he times his kicks. But yeah, Yanez is the more experienced guy. He's been in there with Miles Johns, dudes that we know. Granted, Costa really, Journey Newsom probably ain't going to be around too long, and Boston Sim, and nothing special. But
Boston's he was starting out fights with Nate now.
Yeah, but he was the underdog in both those fights, just like how he is here. I don't think there's any more value on Yanez. Like I like Yanez, but at the same time, Gustavo Lopez is a jiu-jitsu guy, and I feel similar, kind of in a sense, like he's been doing a lot of can crushing too. Like these guys, the Asian guy he fought on Contender Series, like can. Gustavo, definitely a good performance. I mean, he smoked. Like I respect Yanez, but it's just more so like I don't really know how to judge Costa. Like this dude, like he's looking like I don't know. Florida's got him looking. I don't know if he's seeing like some type of anti-aging clinic out there, but like
I hope not.
We'll see what
he's
happens.
young,
but like, dude, this dude's looking like shredded long. Like yeah, so I'm gonna go with Yanez by probably decision. He probably will extend him, but. If he is looking for that, showstopper knockout against Costa, that's not the type of game I would play.
So I watched both their careers, man. Both guys, let me just say, have a very bright future. And basically, to beat Yanez, you either have to make Yanez lead or you have to fight him like a like Domingo Pilarte was literally. Domingo Pilarte was literally running away to the point where the ref was threatening to take points because he was running away, and that's just not what Randy Costa is going to do. Or you got to put your head between his legs like Miles Johns did. You got to try your hardest possible to avoid the fight. And Randy Costa is a wild man. He's going to go right after Yanez. And look, obviously he's got a very nice setup to his head kicks, and there's chin to chin, he can knock anybody out, but that style he has, it plays right into Yanez's very smooth counter striking game. And like I said, Costa is very dangerous. He just lacks kind of the experience and the seasoning if both men happen to get tested here. And like I said, Pilarte, like you look at that loss on Yanez's record, it says he lost to Pilarte, so it's alarming, but Pilarte fought terrified, and honestly, that's why he won. He didn't exchange at all, whereas Costa is the polar opposite. Costa is going to exchange. I've never seen Yanez rocked or dropped in a single fight. And then also the first time Costa went past the first round against Brandon Davis, he did get rocked badly. He did, shoot a desperation takedown. He did get choked out. Now, granted, like you said, he's at Sanford. He's still a baby in this game, so he's definitely making improvements. No questions asked. It's just he hasn't had the necessary experience to win a long-term battle against an opponent as seasoned as Yanez. So Costa has to go out here and finish Yanez early to win. I think it's kind of unlikely, but then again, Costa, he does have a nasty setup to his high kick game, but if Costa tries to swing those loopy punches, he might hit the deck, man. I've seen Costa attempt 2 takedowns in his career, so he's not going to come out here with this Miles Johns game plan and try to stall it out. And in addition to Yanez's fast hands, he's got great footwork, good head movement. He also has a bit of an underrated ground game, man. He's very hard to hold down. The only fight that kind of sketched me out was the Kyle Estrada fight, because Kyle actually went out there and landed a couple clean high kicks on Yanez and was kind of chopping him with low kicks. But man, Yanez has a rock solid chin. It's just that you don't want to eat too many clean shin to chin shots, because it doesn't matter how good your chin is. And Yanez has always been sharp, but his hands look significantly sharper after the Kyle Estrada fights. Like these last 3 appearances have been absolute clinics and pleasures to watch, man. So I'm going to go with Yanez here as well. I'm thinking probably mid-second round TKO. So Yanez is my pick, but I definitely agree. I think Randy Costa will be back. I think he's got a bright future. Now, next up in the flyweight division, we got Maycee Barber. She's 8-2. She's taking on Miranda Maverick, who's 9-2. And currently, they got Miranda Maverick minus 150. The comeback on Maycee Barber is plus 130. So Shaq, This is exciting, man. Both young ladies, both strong, both physical, both hit hard. I think both have a very bright future in the division. Who do you think takes that step right now?
Good fight because like you said, all the things you just said. Maycee Barber, look, she's getting a slightly bad rap in my opinion, and Miranda Ravic seems like she's a complete package. Seems like she could, very from what I understand, she's like a genius maybe or something like that. Too. Like she might be one of these brainiacs, but like she the skills, in these two fights, she's definitely showed a well-rounded skill set. Maycee's coming off the 2 losses, so we know what type of urgency there's going to be some urgency, some desperation in there. But man, the way I feel about this fight, man, is kind of just like recency bias. I look, Maycee Barber, in my opinion, like this is the way I analyze, because she's been a laughing stock of of MMA for last year or so, because the Roxanne situation where she was a huge favorite and dropped the ball there, got injured, which she was 100%. She was losing the fight before the injury 100%. And then the Alexa Grasso fight, where it seems like she was a very popular underdog that weekend. The whole shadow boxing from the the whole gifts with the shadow boxing. But like this is the way I view it, guys. Like, look, there's not too many girls that can counter with punching power. Like, look at Grasso and Arena. Who, like, what girls you see out here consistently hurting chicks with punches? Just watch the Gian Kim, like, going in. I picked Grasso outright to win that fight at chalk, because I was like, the way she looked in the Kim fight, like at 125, like this might. Grasso had got pulled out of how many fights at 115? Like, it made sense. Like, okay, like maybe she was killing it. Look at what she did to Carla Esparza. Those that same sweep she hit Maycee with, in that second round. That's the same one that she tried on Esparza. Just Esparza's the number 1 contender. Like, I don't think Maycee stock should be down. Like, let Grasso hit y'all with some of those counter shots, and y'all would be shadow boxing from the outside as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that Maycee Barber, look at how she answered back in the 3rd round. To sit here and say like there was no positive in that fight, like Grasso is gonna, in my opinion, possibly, like, I don't know what she's ranked now, but if she keeps going on this trend, I would not be shocked if she, was one of the lambs getting bought in there for Valentina at some point here soon. She could make it to a title fight. Like, I don't see what's so like bad about that loss, man. I look, the 1st round, she was coming off the injury. Give her some time. Like, Grasso's been competitive. Like, she's been fighting top competition. Okay, she drops the 1st round, but like, this is one of the things, like, over analyzing things, like she got bullied in the clinch, and I disagree with that, man. I think that, like, maybe she didn't have the success in the clinch that y'all thought she was gonna have going into it, but like, I wouldn't say she got bullied. Like, I just think Grasso is the better fighter. I think Grasso's a much better fighter than Maverick as well. Like, I like Maverick, but like, she's fought 2 as one-dimensional chicks as you could possibly get in the UFC, and she looked good in those fights. Liana Jojo, she only wins by one method. She also has a lose. Like, did you see Liana Jojo versus Sarah Moras, and Liana Jojo versus some of these other girls? Like, she flopping to her back, and like, dude, like, I respect, like, she did her thing, but she was like -500. And the Jillian fight, good win. Jillian's got the most subs, but like, let's not forget what Maycee did to Jillian. Like, it wasn't even a competition. Like, not saying that the Miranda fight was close or anything, but it wasn't like, Miranda just blew her out the water or anything like that, man. It was a fairly competitive fight. Like, Jillian's as timid as it gets when it comes to striking. I haven't seen any proof that Miranda can take the type of shots with the power that Maycee's going to be throwing. I don't really see anywhere necessarily where she's better than Maycee Barber. Now, I'm not saying Maycee Barber's like completely better than her either. I just see it being you got 2 young girls. I feel like one's more experienced, one should be more hungrier. I feel like one's fought the higher level of competition. One's been more tested. Look, I'm not necessarily. Sometimes I like that 2-loss spot, often, because it lights a fire, like, But maybe Miranda Maverick is just too technical. We'll see. But I'm actually gonna go with Maycee in this one, man. Like, I just think that the Grasso fight in that 3rd round, a lot of young girls in her spot would have just accepted that and just got absolutely picked to shreds. But like she was coming out with like hitting those TJ takedown. Like she hit what bullied in the clinch. Like she hit takedowns in that fight. Like hitting Grasso with good shots in that third round. Like that's what you want to see from someone moving forward. Like, okay, is Maycee a complete fraud? I completely disagree. Like if she was a complete fraud, you would have seen her got picked apart for 5 more minutes, not answered back. But like she answered the bell. One could say, yeah, Grasso was up too. She was fighting safe, but like I respect Maycee, man. I think Miranda Maverick's just a little overvalued. I'm not sure her skill set can back this price up just yet. But I'm not saying like Miranda Maverick's a bad fighter. Like I'm a fan of Miranda Maverick, man. I think she's a very nice lady. So I think I'm going with Maycee Barber, man. She's hungry. I think she's gonna get this win. A very positive attitude with all the. I mean, dude, like I just think like. Look, I was mad at her too for losing to Roxanne, but like, Roxanne, it's one of those things where like, I know Roxanne looks like complete shit, and she like when you watch tape on her, you're like, how does this girl win fights? But like, guys, trust me, when you get in there with her, it's a different thing. Like she only loses to Lauren Murphy, Jennifer Maya, top, like girls that are fighting for the title, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got Maycee Barber this week in my knockout.
I'm not lower on Maycee Barber because of that Alexa Grasso fight. I actually thought that, like you said, she dug deep in that third round, and that power translates for a lot in these lower weight classes, 100%. Now, she was hitting those takedowns. She was getting reversed. But, man, in the clinch, that's where I had the issue. Like, Alexa turning her around, pinning her up against the fence. Alexa's one of the smaller girls in that weight class. The thing with Miranda, she hasn't fought this level of competition, and we don't know what happens if how does she react to getting hit by these punches? That's the big question. I really don't know. I mean, because some of these girls, they get hit by these shots, and all of a sudden, all the fight leaves them immediately. There's also a chance that Miranda's tough as nails, and that it's not an issue. So we just don't know. It's speculative. So I question for sure what happens, if these big bombs of Maycee Barber land on Maverick. But man, it seems to me like Maverick can match Maycee Barber in physicality. She seems like one of the bigger girls in the weight class. I also like her game. She's a very well-rounded. She's got good technique standing, but she can also mix in takedowns as well. So I kind of see a more well-rounded game. So I see her kind of frustrating Maycee Barber, mixing in takedowns and edging out a close decision. But very valid points here about the power, because we do not know how Miranda Maverick reacts. So if she can't take it, you got to give it to Maycee. But I think that if it's just based off technique, I'm going to go with Maverick. So let's see what happens. Now, next up in the featherweight division, we got Darren the Damage Elkins. He's 25-9. He's taking on Darrick Minner, who's 26-11. And currently, they got Darrick Minner minus 150. The comeback on Darren Elkins is plus 130. So, man, go ahead. So Darrick Minner. What's that?
I'll go first on this one.
Yeah. So Darrick Minner's got a reputation for being a first rounder bust guy, but last time he went out there and clean swept on the judges' scorecards 30-27. Krause changed his lives. It seems like he's got a good thing going on with Krause. Now, if he does kind of sell out for an early sub attempt and can't get it, that Elkins is the guy that can get comeback finishes. He's comeback finished. He's a comeback finisher, and Minner's been finished many, many times, but I do see the minutes being controlled by Minner. You see him going ahead and sealing the deal. I know Elkins has seen better days. I mean, I was cashing tickets on Nate Landwehr against Darren Elkins. That's what I want to get. But what do you think?
Yeah, man, I think not the whole Krause changes lives thing. I think that definitely obviously helped Minner out, but I just think he's getting very good matchups right now. He fought the young kid Laramie. But then, if you give him these, Charles Rosa, he'll good enough to keep his job, but 500 fighter,
win one, lose one.
Yeah, Darren Elkins. I have thought this for a while. Even when he was fighting Landwehr, he has a few fights left, like less than 3 fights left, in my opinion. I know Darren's the Damage, and he prides himself on them, crazy underdog wins, but I think the days of that are over. The way Darrick Minner has looked in these last 2 fights, it's a completely different person. If you know anything about Darrick Minner, the whole first round or busting. I mean, that thing was true. Like he's got like 20 something guillotine wins or submission wins. How many? Like a lot of submission wins. And he gets finished every time he loses. You know who not necessarily, I mean, I know he finished his last guy, but Gory's got Rashad. What happened when USADA came in? I mean, you tell me. Rashad didn't have his juice anymore, man. But I think the way Darrick Minner is look, especially the last fight, you know, beating Charles Rosa, but I don't think anybody was expecting it to be by a 30-26 type of margin. If you can, you know who like in terms of just minutes, like going 15 minutes with Charles, I know like Burgos knocked him out, and but the only dudes that like beat him by that type of margin were Bryce Mitchell, and some good guys. So I think what I'm feeling is Darrick Minner is one of these cases. When you look at his record, he turned pro very young. I'm guessing Darrick Minner is one of these dudes that like did everything the wrong way. He's like from Nebraska, like he probably did everything the wrong way his whole career, leading to all these like results that you just look at how his career was shaking out. I mean, kind of a journeyman, like, you know, a Friday night warrior, you know what I like to call it. But like, dude, like I think now that he's with Krause, like he has direction now. He has a real camp. Like he's training with Tim Elliott. I don't know who he was training with in Nebraska, but he's training with Grant Dawson, somebody that he fought. He's training with my boy Gallagher, the Strab Animal. He's training with Krause has got like a bunch of dudes, man. So like I think honestly, man, he's in the best spot of his career. And I feel like once you see Darren Elkins, when you know the decline is real is when he starts taking losses to guys named Nate Landwehr. and it's not even like, you know, that it's 100% like a bad thing, but like Elkins, you know, was top 15 for a very long time now. And, you know, we lost to Lamas and, you know, guys that were making, but like you see Ryan Hall out here, like looking like a K1 striker against him. I mean, Ryan Hall's out here landing spin kicks to the top of the head. And I know, shout out to Hall, because I hope he recover. Man, that last one with against Taporia.
We ain't gonna see Ryan Hall for 2 years. Yeah, I'll tell you that right now.
We're not seeing him fight again. But I think, man, I think Darren Elkins' best days are behind him. I don't think he can take that type of damage and keep going. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if we see a TKO doctor style. Like, I think Minner can open blood on this guy very early. He's faster, more powerful. Not necessarily the cleanest striker, but he's got power. Like he's more athletic. Like I think he's realizing new skills as well. Like fight to fight with Krause. Like he's in the best place of his career. I think he actually comes out here and does a similar like 30-20, like a clear victory for Darrick Minner this weekend. You can that last fight with Garrett Gorey. I mean, like I like Eduardo, you know, vicious striker, but his like I don't know anything about that Latin American jiu-jitsu scene, but it's just not very good. So I'm going with Darrick Minner by domination.
Just gotta give a quick shout out to our boy SC for all with the donation, man. It's good to see Shaq out the pen. Welcome home, man.
Out the pen.
It's good to have Shaq here. Listen, I agree. I mean, I think the minutes are going to be won by Darrick Minner. It's just about not fucking up somewhere along the way, not getting carried away, not beating, because Elkins has a tendency to get really beat up in these fights. And in some of the fights, he's been able to come back. But nowadays, I know he's getting older. He was recently on a 4-fight skid. He cuts easily. He gets taken down easily. So I think Elkins is going to get beat up. It's just about, don't get comeback finished or anything. I don't think that Darren Elkins is going to be winning rounds in this fight or anything like that. It's just, Minner's been finished a good amount of times. That's what you got to worry about. But I do agree. Most likely, Minner comes out here and probably dominates this fight, to be honest with you.
Krause changes lives.
It's just about hold on. I saw something about my boy Ludacris. Hold up. We gotta address that real quick. He said, y'all saw Atlanta seeing y'all smoking, making me think of what y'all know about that Ludacris blueberry yum yum. Hey, by the way, did you see my boy Luda was out there with Greg Jackson?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Greg Jackson was holding pads for him. Pretty fucking cool.
That is an ATL legend. And that blueberry yum yum song, I think my boy Future wrote that song, if I'm not mistaken. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Luda is a total legend. We love that guy. Blueberry Yum Yum, a classic.
Probably neighbors. He probably stays somewhere. No, he actually lives closer to my side, actually.
Yeah. So co-main event of the evening in the bantamweight division, we got Kyler Phillips. He's 9-1. He's taking on Raulian Paiva, who's 20-3. And currently they got Kyler Phillips minus 300. The comeback on Raulian Paiva is plus 240. So, man, this should be one hell of a fight. Obviously, super high on both guys. I think Kyler Phillips, man, he might be a bit of a phenom. I really love his technique, and now he's starting to put it together. And you compare the guy we saw in the Ultimate Fighter and the Contender Series, compare to the guy that's now a top 15 ranked bantamweight, like, holy shit, his transformation has been amazing to watch. And then Raulian Paiva is an absolute dog. You hear about this guy's story. You watch his Contender Series fight. I mean, I fucking love Raulian Paiva, and I'm so happy he doesn't have to deal with those brutal weight cuts to 125 anymore. Now, here's my only issue, Shaq. On one hand, Raulian Paiva, you know, he's like 5'9", so him being at flyweight, you know, he had such massive advantages there, man. I mean, fighting all these guys that are 5'4", like, dude, like, and his scrambling ability. So I kind of wish that he could still make the weight, but at the same time, if you can't make that weight in a healthy manner, you got to move up. And I think you might look like a new man here. I just kind of want him to get his feet wet a little bit in the bantamweight division, you know, fight the guys that the Matrix Kyler Phillips has been fighting. Go fight a Cameron Else. Go fight, you know, some of these other guys. Get your feet wet, and then we move to the top 15. But I think the reason they're doing this is because both guys are ranked. So, you know, when you're ranked, it's only tough fights.
Too. What you talking about?
I said both guys are ranked.
No, I'm saying,
yeah. So that's why, you know, Raulian ain't gonna get any easy fight. So, you know, it's one of those things where Raulian's a dog. He's gonna fight tough. And you see a plus 240 line on a guy like that, I understand why you'd be interested, but I do kind of think he's outgunned in this fight. I do kind of think that Kyler Phillips probably edges the decision. Look, I don't think Kyler Phillips comes out here and knocks him out in the first round, or, you know, because that's what I want with a minus 300 favorite. I want a first round stoppage. I want a domination. I don't think it's going to just be a pillar to post ass whooping. I think that Raulian's going to have his moments for sure. But I kind of see Kyler being a little bit too clean, kind of edging the decision. And I think Raulian will be back for sure.
Yeah, man. One could say this is a risky fight for Phillips to take. I mean,
Raulian's a dog, man.
He's about to get a shout out to my boy Sunset, another ATL legend. But you know, he had a Sunset lined up. You know, that was looking like a favorable fight. And now he's fighting Raulian with nothing to lose. Fighting Raulian with nothing to lose is kind of dangerous. I mean, Raulian's supposed to lose this fight, so I mean, he's honestly should go out here and fight very free. And I mean, if you get a free Raulian, a healthy Raulian, plus nothing to lose, like, I mean, Raulian might be throwing thunder tomorrow night. But yeah, look, look, Phillips looked very good in that fight with Song. Like, I mean, some of them head kicks he was timing upstairs, that footwork. What I was surprised with, I was expecting him to gas out, but I mean, it looked like he could maintain it. But a part of me is also wondering, you know, Song ain't necessarily too known for his cardio as well. But I will say that I definitely think the kid's top 15. Like some of that footwork, some of those techniques that he's throwing are definitely very creative. And he's a black belt from Gracie Academy too. Like I remember we actually used to talk to him like a long time ago.
We had him on the show,
like a long time ago. So yeah, man, like he actually because he lost to the Katona. He lost to Katona too. Him and Bryce Mitchell lost to Katona on top. So like he's made a lot of improvements. Yeah, I think you got to pick him in this matchup. Look, I love Raulian as a fan, and I would not be shocked. I actually disagree with the price. Like just because I feel like there's going to be a lot of pressure on, like Kyler's going to feel a lot of pressure. Like I hate matchups like that, man. Like just because like Raulian is dangerous, man. And we don't know how dangerous he's going to be at 35s. Like I've kind of been feeling like something's always been holding Raulian back. Like at 125s, like we haven't been able to see the real thing just because I think he's undefeated at bantamweight. Like all his fights prior to Contender Series were at bantamweight. He was like under 18 or maybe like 18-1 or something like that. And you know, then he moved to flyweight for Contender Series and he's been at flyweight since. So I would not be shocked if Raulian is like one of these, like at bantamweight. I mean, we see it like so often now, man, like dudes moving up and you know, them just looking like completely different, like kind of like Grasso, like what we were talking about the other fight. But like, I think, yeah, I'm gonna pick Phillips, but I wouldn't play that line against Raulian. I feel like that's, man, because I know how y'all. I mean, Kai Kara France was like at a similar line. He did end up winning, but I mean, to say it was
not smooth sailing.
Yeah, I mean, there were moments, you know.
Let me say this, because Raulian is heavily criticized for that fight against Zalgas, but I feel like,
listen, like
there's so much back info in that fight.
Wasn't even there. Like his coaches weren't there. He missed weight by 5 pounds.
Just imagine you're going halfway across the world and your team can't come with you because they all get COVID. So you're halfway across the world and, you know, somewhere you've never been before by yourself. You got to go to Zaleski and Andrade's people because they're the only people that speak Portuguese. They help you in the corner. They help you cut weight. You end up missing weight. You get sick. You have to fight this Kazakh fucking stud Zalgas. You know, you just saw what he just did to Jerome Rivera, and Hallian still found a way to get the decision. I just feel like now he's not going to be killing himself to make weight, so I do expect a better version of Hallian. It's just you got to respect the talent and the technique of a guy like Kyler Phillips, but I see it, you know, I see it playing out closer than minus 300 indicates. Main event time. Main event of the evening in the bantamweight division. We got Cory Sandhagen, the number 3 bantamweight on planet Earth. He's 14-2. He's taking on the former 2-time world champion Shaq, TJ Dillashaw, who's 16-4. And currently, they got Cory Sandhagen minus 190. The comeback on TJ Dillashaw is plus 165. So, man, this is the return of TJ Dillashaw. He wants to become a 3-time world champion. You hear his interviews. I mean, the guy doesn't seem like he lost an ounce of confidence. And you look at the pictures of his physique, didn't lose an ounce of fat either. I mean, the guy is shredded to the gills. So, like, whatever he's taking, you know, he's still working with Sam Calvito. So, you know, they upped up their masking agents. And, you know, whatever he was doing, he's still doing. But there were things going into that Cejudo fight that we discussed, you know, prior to him even popping. So to me, I'm not even basing this off, oh, how is he going to look off steroids? Because firstly, I don't think he's off steroids, but secondly, that ain't even what I'm thinking about. What I'm thinking about was the issues that I talked about a couple of years back, that the chin might be kind of suspect on the Dillashaw side. Now he's in such good shape, he can recover fast, but with a guy like Cory Sandhagen, one of those knees hits you in the chin, one of those spinning heel kicks hits you, it doesn't matter how good your chin is. And one difference between a guy like Cory Sandhagen and, you know, some of these other guys that can't capitalize is Cory Sandhagen will capitalize. You know, Cory Sandhagen, the difference between him and, you know, Cody Garbrandt is Cody Garbrandt, he'll drop you and then he'll start dancing. He'll start doing the robot. He'll start doing all these stupid things. You get dropped against Cory Sandhagen, he's rushing in for that finish and he'll get you out of there. So I think that's one of the big differences. How do you see this fight playing out, man?
Yeah, look, TJ is a legend. He's been off for a while. Fighting Cory Sandhagen off this type of layoff is like one of the most terrifying things in my opinion. Like, because his timing is on point. He's been fighting, and TJ's timing. I mean, look, you can get it in training for sure, but I don't think. I mean, he can try to find. I mean, he already knows about Cory. Like, he was hyping him up. So I mean, like, you were struggling with him back then. I mean, you know, look, Cory. It depends on what game plan TJ comes with. If he comes with the all-out wrestling approach and we're going to take this guy down, then yes, this line is a little wide because Cory Sandhagen's takedown defense is like in the 20 or 30%. Yeah, like very low. Like he gets taken, like he will get taken down. And he likes to play the jiu-jitsu game. And I mean, TJ's a better grappler than him. I mean, that's just fact. So if he comes out with that game plan, but a part of me feels like TJ's gone completely striker, like before this break. Like TJ, Dwayne Ludwig, I mean, they knocked out.
Look, if you want to put it in perspective, Conor McGregor was a champion more recently than the last time TJ Dillashaw landed a takedown in a fight.
Exactly. Like TJ went full striker years ago. Like Dwayne Ludwig, I mean, that's what they did. They took out Renan Barão by knockout. But then like what happened when let's not forget about that Dominic Cruz fight some few years back when he was whiffing and missing air. Like I've always thought TJ was great, but I've always seen holes in his striking. And when he's going up again, you got to be great, obviously, to beat him. You can't just you just can't beat anybody. But I mean, he is an upper echelon fighter, so we're talking about the upper echelon guys here, and I feel like Cory Sandhagen has all the schools to come out here and knock him out. He's coming off a big layoff, a vicious knockout. By the hands of arguably, is Henry the GOAT? Like, I mean,
triple GOAT.
I mean, 2 belts. I mean,
and Olympic gold.
2 belts, Olympic gold medal.
And defended both those belts.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it 2 belts. But I think that I mean, that was a vicious knockout. And I know it was at 125 pounds, but I mean, he took severe shots in that one. And, you know, do I think it's playing a factor in his mind? I mean, he's surely not acting like it, but we'll see what happens because I didn't put that much stock into the Cody Garbrandt series right there because, I mean, when you're posting videos of you knocking the dude out the day before, I already know he's in your head now. And, I mean, Cody, like, dropped him and then was doing, like, all these like dudes. I mean, look what Cody's at now. Like, dude's head's gone, dude. Like, and like the rematch. I mean, the same thing. and then he fought Henry right after that. Yeah, so I feel like there's a lot of questions on him. I feel like Sandhagen just needs to keep his distance, and the shots will eventually land at some point. Like TJ is just not, I just think his timing is going to be off. Like I don't see how his timing is going to be unless his training camp's that good. He's got somebody to mimic Sandhagen like that, but we'll see. But I just think this is like a serious task, like a big task, like maybe if he was coming back to fight Marlon Moraes or you know, I don't even know if he can beat Rob Font now, but somebody else. But I think Sandhagen, man, this is his fight to win. As far as the betting side of things, yeah, pretty much everyone's been betting Sandhagen, but I think rightfully so, man. Like I just think there's too many factors, but we'll see if TJ comes out and wrestles. But like you said, he hasn't hit a takedown since when?
Since 2016.
Dude went full striker, man. He's a big ego guy. Like when it comes to the striking, like we'll see, man. We'll see. But I'm going with Cory Sandhagen. I got a lot of respect for TJ, man. Definitely one of the best bantamweights. But I just feel like it's a little, I don't want to say delusional to think he's gonna come back and start fighting with the Yanez and all these. I mean, bantamweight is like becoming like lightweight now, man.
Who you got between TJ and Sterling?
Like, I'm not convincing, even though I'm not a fan of Sterling. Like, I'm not convinced he wins. I mean, he might win, but I'm not convinced. Like, I'm not saying like how back in the 3 years ago, I'd say Dillashaw like embarrasses him, but like now I'm not sure. But yeah, well, who knows? But I'm going with Cory Sandhagen by knockout.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's coming back to fight the number 2 guy in the planet. And interestingly enough, the number 2 guy, Cory Sandhagen, he takes a lot of influence from TJ Dillashaw's style. And I think both of them take a lot of influence from Dominic Cruz's style. But Cory Sandhagen's kind of like the 2021 version. He's taller, he's longer, he's the bigger guy. And I also like the fact that he's already taken his first L, so he's been humbled and he's come back with a brand new attitude. But then again, there's a thing with TJ Dillashaw. He's a D1 wrestler. Once a D1 wrestler, always a D1 wrestler. So he can always go to the back pocket and, mix in some takedowns and stuff like that. It's just, can he do it over a 5-round duration? And when he does it, is he going to be able to have dominance while doing it? It can Cory Sandhagen scramble back up, and from there they start all over again. Now, granted, TJ can stand and bang too. Don't get me wrong. That's not.
He put on a wrestling clinic against Lineker.
Like TJ can stand and bang too. Don't get me wrong. His striking is the most impressive part of his game. He's developed his own style. It's just that, he's dealing with a much longer guy who is also very proficient at striking, who's no joke at all, who gives you different kinds of looks that you won't see from any other opponent. I mean, when's the last time a 5'11" guy was throwing flying knees at TJ Dillashaw in a fight? Probably never. So I think, and I'm not too worried about, the training camp. Oh, they used to spar together shit. And because Cory's not worried about it. Cory's not out here arrogant like Cody Garbrandt posting, clips of him knocking him out. Like Cory was like, I put zero stock into that. Like Cory was like, I don't even put any stock into the drug suspension. I'm expecting the best TJ Dillashaw. He said it would be dangerous to expect this to be a diminished version. And I think it'll only be diminished because he's like 35 and 36. I don't think it's going to be diminished because of drug stuff. I mean, he's got a shredded 6-pack. I think that he's still on his Flintstone vitamins. He's still doing his strength and conditioning program. So I don't expect, that to be a factor. It's just the chin was an issue before this drug talk. And I think it's going to be an issue here Saturday night. So I do think that Cory Sandhagen comes out here, knocks out TJ Dillashaw. Obviously, the wrestling is a concern because, like I told you off air, the way that Aljamain handled Sandhagen, TJ had an exact performance like that against Von Lee back in the day. So the only reason I'm bringing up a fight from like that many years ago is just because he's taken someone down, taken their back, and choked them out right away, the same way that Aljo beat Sandhagen. So I'm curious, a guy like TJ is smart. That they're watching tape with his team. They know about that hole in Sandhagen's game. They know that.
They saw Cory at wrestling practice.
Yeah, so they want to come out here and mix in some takedowns for sure. It's just how long can he wrestle for? When he does, what kind of success will he have on the mat? So there's lots of questions. And then also, what's going to happen on the feet? I do see TJ landing some kicks and stuff like that, but I just think the length, the size, and just the unpredictability of Cory Sandhagen is going to be the difference. And I think he's the guy that's prime right now. He's got the better timing, is ready to either rematch the placeholder champ Sterling or get a fresh matchup with the real champ Peter Yan. So I mean, we all know Peter Yan is the champ, but yeah, I'm gonna go Cory Sandhagen here to knock out TJ Dillashaw. Shaq, now we got to talk about the fight to watch and the fighter to watch. So, and as you know, those asking why we're not talking about Ladd and Chauzan, Chauzan actually pulled out the fight, so that fight's canceled. Shaq, what is the fight to watch for UFC Vegas 32?
My fight to watch is Brendan Allen versus Puna Haley. I mean, we got two young, promising middleweights on our hands, and middleweights, you know, is getting a lot better these days. Brendan, 25 years old, very experienced. Puna, I mean, we know the type of power he possesses. I see that possibly. I see that the winner of that fight, you know, moving up and getting like a big opponent next.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to pick the people's main event. I'm going to go with Yanez versus Costa. I know that this is the popular Twitter fight. Everyone wants to see it, but I just have a hard time imagining this fight being boring. I mean, Randy Costa is an absolute savage. He goes forward, 6 wins, 6 first-round finishes. Yanez has been really letting his hands go. I mean, you know, does that mean they're going to clinch for 3 straight rounds now, Shaq? No, but I mean, like, who's going to be the first man to shoot a takedown? Probably no one. I mean, if anyone hits the mat, it's going to be from a knockdown. So I see Yanez versus Costa being the fight to watch, and I can't wait to see what happens. Shaq, who is your fighter to watch Saturday night?
My fighter to watch is going to be, I'm going to say Darrick Minner. I mean, look, you know, I always got a soft spot for the journeyman that can, you know, turn their careers around. And it looks like he might be on track. So let's see how he does. I mean, if you beat Darren Elkins, I mean, 3-fight win streak, name. Darren Elkins, like, I mean, you know, he might be fighting, get a big fight at 4-45. You know, a lot of guys out there outside that top 15.
Yeah, I mean, look, you beat Elkins, it always translates to a fight that has a lot of eyeballs on it. So let's see how he responds to.
A household name.
That's the biggest name he's fought in his UFC career. So let's see.
Elkins.
Everybody knows the damage. So I mean, the damage was ranked at one point, Shaq. So
damage, I mean, like, was ranked for like more than like 45s. Fought Charles back in the day. He was Charles's debut. I mean, Elkins has been around a long time.
So my fighters to watch, you know, it should be one fighter, but it's 2 fighters. It's Miranda and Maycee. Like, I want to know who the better woman is. I want to see how, you know, they come out here mentally. And also, I love what I've been hearing from Maycee Barber. I don't actually like as much of what I've been hearing from Miranda, you know, talking about how, oh, I would have rather taken this fight when we were number 4 and number 5 instead of now. But talk is cheap. None of that shit really matters. I think they're both very talented prospects. I think no matter who wins or loses this fight, I think they both have a bright future in the sport. And I think they're both going to go far. So Maycee and Miranda are my fighters to watch. Well, Shaq, we did it. It's going down Saturday night in Las Vegas, Nevada, live at the Apex. Sandhagen versus Dillashaw. They can follow you at MMA Genius 05. They can follow me at Best Fight Picks. Subscribe to Half the Battle on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, Spotify. All the places where we are available. We'll be back next week for the next card, because next week we got Strickland versus Hall. That should be a very fun fight. Interesting betting line there. And make sure y'all hit up our sponsor, Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use that promo code BATTLE20 for 20% off and free shipping. Truly appreciate all your support, guys. Thank you very, very much. And until the next time, let's